And thank you for joining us here tonight at the Parkway Hotel. And I'm really, really grateful that so many of you have turned out on this Tuesday evening when you could have been otherwise with your families, although some of you are here with your families. But so many of you have elected to come here tonight really demonstrates just how much you all care about Pontypool Rugby Club and just what appetite there is for club rugby in Torvine. So it's something we're incredibly grateful for. And as a management, obviously at times we have to make difficult decisions, but everything we do is in the best interest of this rugby club, and having your support here tonight and hopefully your backing for what we have decided is incredibly important to us and something we never take for granted. So thank you again for that. And that's why we're here tonight. We're obviously here to make a fairly seismic announcement in the history of this great club, but where we could have just issued a press release and you read about it in tomorrow's papers. We thought that it was only right that you were the first to know, as our loyal supporters, because you are the fabric of the club, and you always will be. And I hope our calling of this meeting here tonight will demonstrate to you just how much we care about your thoughts and support. So thank you again for that. Before I continue, I would like to just pay tribute to Kerry Jennings and her team here at the Parkway. They agreed to host us at extremely short notice, less than a week, and obviously there's a lot of you here tonight, and they're tremendous hosts, as I'm sure you will agree. So if we could first just offer a round of applause to Kerry and her team. It's also worth noting as well, we have several members of the media here tonight, and we are incredibly grateful for them for not only taking an interest in this story, but also for reporting on it so thoroughly, as they have done so already. It's made a tremendous impact, which I'll get onto later, and they'll no doubt continue to do so in the coming days and weeks as this story develops. But because of that, I would ask you to be mindful of what you say tonight, as everything is very much on the record here. And we're also broadcasting this live on Periscope via our Twitter channel. So please, whilst I wholly expect there to be some very strong feelings from you tonight, I just kindly request that you be mindful of your language, even if I more than likely agree with your sentiments. So just that's the ground rules. So tonight I'm going to discuss what we've been dealing with in respect of our attempts to enclose the rugby facility at Pontypool Park. It's a process that would have allowed us to make a really massive investment into what is a council-owned asset. And it's a shame that we've called this meeting tonight to tell you we've been unsuccessful in doing this, despite our very best efforts, and that Pontypool RFC will be leaving Pontypool Park at the earliest opportunity. We're of course absolutely devastated to have been placed in this position by Torvine Council, and celebrations to mark the club's proud 150th anniversary will invariably be severely diminished by this announcement tonight. It's a truly devastating blow to the thousands of Pontypool Rugby Club supporters who have called Pontypool Park their home, or their rugby home, for the last 73 years. And just branching off from this a moment, for me, Pontypool Park means a great deal to me personally and to my family. As many of you know, I never really wanted anything to do with this club or rugby 6 years ago, when my father took the decision to support the club. I was an avid football fan. Sorry, I know that's a bad word in this room. But 2 weeks after my dad took on the club in December of 2012, he suffered a really serious stroke, and there was nobody left to run the club other than me, which was a real baptism of fire, I can assure you. And at the time, my dad was very unwell. My wife was also, and it still is, severely unwell with a very debilitating condition, and I was suffering terribly personally with depression and OCD and anxiety, the full suite of mental health complications. And if it were not for this rugby club and for Pontypool Park, which very much became a safe haven for me, I wouldn't be here today. Make no mistake about it. I would have done something very regrettable in my life. Of that, there's no question. So that we're in this position where we feel we have to leave Pontypool Park, it's a wrench for me. I'm really emotional about that. I'm very upset by it. So this isn't a decision that we've taken lightly. I hope you can see the effect that it has had on me and my family, because it's a massive, massive decision. But I'm just one person, and I know I'm looking at so many people here who I see every week at the ground, and you've built your own memories with your own families, and it's a sad day. It's a very sad day for this rugby club. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. As a management, we have devoted the last 4 years in trying to overcome the resistance of Torvine Council to give a new lease of life to what is a tired and rapidly deteriorating venue. Pontypool Park is majestic, we all know that, but the world is not the same place that it was when the club welcomed over 20,000 people to the ground on a regular basis, and sadly the ground has become a haven for destructive, antisocial behaviour. Of that there is no doubt. Society has changed, but we've always remained focused on the cause of this issue and not the effect. We want it to be known that we were prepared to invest heavily, up to £1 million of our own family's money, into what is and would always remain a council-owned asset. So it is incomprehensible to us, and I'm sure it is to you as well, that Torvine Council would allow that opportunity to pass them by. Resolving the legal complexities surrounding Pontypool Park was the gateway to the whole development coming to fruition. And by Torvine Council failing to support the club at this stage, we simply could not continue with our proposals to improve the ground. We needed the local authority's support, and we simply didn't have it. We're now inevitably facing our biggest challenge since we took over the ownership of this club back in 2012. And we do run the very real risk of the club losing a central part of its identity. And we have to find a way together to navigate through this turbulent and disruptive period to ensure that all of our progress is not lost. And by that I mean contributions you make, the team has made, the volunteers have made. You've all played your part, and I have no doubt that you will continue to play your part. But I am confident that we can weather this storm. The club has proved its resilience in recent years, and it has overcome far more significant challenges than this, such as would it even be here. We rode that storm and come through it stronger. The business is very, very stable, and we have so many people in so many key positions who care deeply for the club, including yourselves. I'm looking here tonight at our volunteers, and I can see the emotion on their faces. They're incredible people, and I quite often feel like we don't appreciate them enough. It's not possible. The work they do is just too valuable. And what they've endured over the years, quite frankly, sickens me to the core. And we need to support them too. So if leaving Pontypool Park is what it takes to give you and them and us a venue we can be proud of, and one that's safe, then so be it. We are in a very strong position, both on and off the field, and we're all focused on taking the club back to the top flight of Welsh Club Rugby, despite this clearly very big distraction. We're also enormously grateful for the backing we've received from you, the supporters, particularly over recent days when this started to enter the public domain. You're knowledgeable, and I believe you know, and I hope you know, that it is solely the local authorities' lack of vision that has resulted in this outcome. But despite the widespread support we received throughout this process, there were some people who objected to our proposals. And I would ask those who stood in the way of progress to spare a thought for our small band of volunteers who continue to suffer the consequences of the cruelest actions from a strand of society that does not wish to contribute anything positive to their community. Our volunteers are the true heroes of Pontypool, together with you, our supporters, and it is all of you who I'm most saddened for that we were not able to secure a victory and get our plans over the line. So what next for this club? Well, we have taken the decision as a management, but we're not going to put any more time or any more resource into trying to remain in Pontypool Park. But already, after this story first broke on Friday, Torfaen Council came back to us with a series of concessions, but it's not enough. We needed more, and we needed it far sooner. If there is any faint hope of the club remaining at Pontypool Park, Torfaen Council is going to have to come back to the negotiating table with something very substantial very soon. In truth, I don't honestly believe that Torfaen Council ever for a moment thought we were serious when we said we were going to leave Pontypool Park. I don't think they ever expected us to make this matter public knowledge. But we did, and you were here with us, and we're serious. They are now in a battle with the hearts and minds of the people of Pontypool, and boy do they know it. So that is our position on the matter. I know this decision presents challenges, but I hope you'll agree that this opportunity is one we must pursue. And I really, really do hope that this is something which you'll support. And I hope if there is one thing that we have conveyed here over the years, it's that we've always had and always will have you and the club's best interests at heart. Mark my words, we're not going to abandon this club. We're going to stick with it, and we know you will too. We've made far too much progress to let it all slip away now, and there is no way that we were going to abandon you and this great club. It's not going to happen. But it is time to take a leap of faith into the future, and it's important that we do that together. And I really, really do hope that we have your backing and we have your support. So this is where we stand on the matter. Your reaction is what I expected. I see people in tears. I see a lot of sad faces. What happens to Pontypool Park? I don't know. That is for Torfaen Council to answer. Really, this came down to a couple of legal complexities, which I'll get into later. And it all really centered on the last 7 or 8 months or so, when we appointed our own team of specialist advisors, legal advisors, planning advisors, to really get to the bottom of what was happening with covenants and with Pontypool Park being a Grade 2 listed park, and what our limitations were and what our possibilities were. And we thought we were making significant progress, and it culminated, all of these years of negotiations culminated in a meeting with Torfaen Council and our advisory team, and we agreed a way forward. Torfaen Council agreed to take some steps to help us, and we held our end of the bargain. However, a month later, we noticed things were very quiet, and ultimately they decided that they were no longer in a position to help us with what we had previously agreed in this meeting, which happened at the end of March of this year. And to put this into context, we announced to them, to their executive team, on the 3rd of May, that we had taken the decision to leave Pontypool Park. It is now the 17th of July, and to this date the executive have not acknowledged, neither have they replied to that email. The one saving grace and the one strand of opportunity that still exists is Anthony Hunt, who, I cannot stress enough, has been a big asset to us. He's done everything he possibly could do to get this over the line. The issue lays with his executive team. So me and Anthony continue to be in fairly productive discussions, but as it stands, we're leaving. I don't really see much that's going to change that. In terms of alternative venues, I will be honest with you, have investigated a few. One about 18 months ago, just as we were trying to keep all our options open. That wasn't viable. We tried another one, that wasn't viable. So we are in a position where we don't have a plan B, but we are now putting all our eggs into the basket of discovering a plan B. And as soon as we have any information on that, you'll be the first to know. It is key, I think, as a management, that we're transparent, that we're open, we're engaging. I hope that's how you receive this tonight. And that's where we are.